Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. Making you healthier one bite at a time. Tip with Toni. With Toni.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Toni podcast. I'm Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. In this episode, I am interviewed by Kate, who is a dietetics student going to school to become a registered dietitian, and she had an assignment where she needed to interview an entrepreneur and ask them a couple of questions about what it takes to be a nutrition entrepreneur. And I was so honored to be asked because, as you guys know, this is I've been like, what is it now? Almost, February, March, April, May. This is going to come out in June. 5 months of being a full-time nutrition entrepreneur and almost 2 years of being a nutrition entrepreneur / business owner. And so I was really honored to get asked these questions, and that's all I got to say. Take a listen, and I will talk to you guys at the end. Hi, Katie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to have you on here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. So, Katie, I know you have like a ton of questions for me. You're going to school to become a registered dietitian. And you said, we were just talking earlier, that you like the food service aspect.
I really do. I mean, community is important to me too. That's what initially drew me into dietetics. But food service, I got into college to get out of food service, but I found myself loving it. So
that's so cool. Funny. Yeah. So, I know your questions, you're asking me more about like the entrepreneurial journey and all of that. And that's an assignment you have at school, right?
Yep. For development of the entrepreneurial dietitian.
I think that's pretty cool considering like a few months ago, I wasn't doing this fully. Like I was doing it, but like I also was working for another company. So I think this is cool that you asked to interview me. So thank you very much.
Of course. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So, and it's funny, you guys can't see, we're doing video, but like I just saw your cat go by and like I have both of my cats, like just like chilling. And I'm like, please don't come over here. Like,
I know, he can't be controlled. So
yeah, it's impossible. What's your cat's name?
His name is Ink.
Oh, how cute.
He's a black cat.
Yeah. So cute. I have 2 cats. They're Joey and Chloe.
Oh, rhyming. I love it.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So I know we're both on like a time schedule. So go ahead. What's your first question?
Okay. So first question is, what do you find personally rewarding in your field?
Changing lives. Like without a doubt, my favorite part about what I do is helping people realize that they have just like, they didn't even know what they were capable of. Because my whole belief is that to be your best self, you have to have a good understanding of your nutrition and you really need to feel good. And until we have that, you'll never really be able to have the energy that you need to sustain whatever job you want or family you want or relationships you want. And when we eat better, we think more clearly, we're more productive. And so I just love when that light bulb goes off in my clients and they're just like, I didn't know that I could do this. I didn't know that I could be this way. I'm so excited for my life. Like that's probably the best thing that I get to see happen. And it's like a process too. Like when I work with people, it doesn't, we work together for months on end. So it's like really cool to see every step of the journey and their transformation from where they were and where they end up.
Yeah. And it's cool that you like play a role in that, but you sort of just lead them to that discovery of their own.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen at the end, but I feel like good things are going to happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is a little trickier. How do you balance your home life and your work responsibilities?
So self-discipline. I'll just say that self-discipline. Because the thing is the beauty of being an entrepreneur and owning your own business is you can create your own hours. Mm-hmm. And so with that, people will ask you, my family will ask me like, can you come to dinner on such and such night? And I used to have work as an excuse where I was like physically like at a location where it wasn't really up to me. My hours were my hours. And so the answer would be like, no, wish I could, can't. Now it's like, so I could technically, but would that be me? But is that taking away from the time that I could be creating content, being active in my private Facebook community, doing podcast recordings, like what's on my kind of to-do list. And so I really had, and it's really difficult too when I work from home, like in a 1-bedroom apartment where literally I'm looking at my bed in my bedroom. And this is also my office. Like I created a section, right? My kitchen's right there. My living, like everything is like right here. So it's like really important for me to like go in with blinders and create a schedule. And like, these are my working hours. And so if someone asks me for plans, even if it's like, sometimes I actually have my schedule like creativity time where like, I don't really have anything scheduled, and it allows me to like maybe go for a walk and like think about what I'm going to write for my post and all those things. And so I really have to just be disciplined enough to say no to those things so that I can actually, believe it or not, the more disciplined time you have, the more free time you create. So the beauty of now finally working for myself full time and no longer juggling all those jobs and doing all that is now having the freedom to, I work my discipline hours Monday through Friday, or it depending, it's a little bit flexible, but my off time is my off time. And I've never had more fun. Like in the past 3 to 4 months, like I'm spending quality time with family and friends. I'm no longer stressed about like having to juggle both, I have to go to work, but also have to build my business and like then fit in family time. So it's a lot of self-discipline and kind of creating that structure and kind of setting to it. And actually, believe it or not, for me, I find that when I take care of my personal needs first, so things like exercise, nutrition, cleaning up, like all of those things, then it's like, okay, I can sit down and get work done and I'm more efficient, more effective. And my days can vary from like 12-hour days to like 4-hour days. Like it really depends. At the end of the day, it's kind of just like whatever's on my list, I make a to-do list and I check it off and it gets done. And that's kind of dependent. As long as I'm disciplined, then it doesn't really matter this quote unquote hours that I spent in either location. I just got to get the stuff done.
Right. And then it just falls into place when you set yourself up like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Oh, cool. So what do you think are the most important skills someone should have to find success as an entrepreneur?
Oh, boy. Well, one thing definitely as an entrepreneur I've learned is like you really, really have to kind of ride the highs and ride the lows. And like, there's going to be times where like things are super exciting and business is great and everything's happening. And you're just like, oh my God, how, like, this is so great. But then there's going to be times where like, things just aren't going to go your way and you get frustrated and all that. And like, I think to be an entrepreneur, like you kind of really have to accept that wholeheartedly that you signed up for like the uncomfortable or like the unpredictable, right? You're no longer getting a paycheck every Friday or every other Friday. You don't no longer have set hours where you work from like 8 to 4. You kind of roll with the punches. And I think you really have to just be that person that believes in yourself and that knows that like there's good days and there's bad days, but overall, like it's worth it. Because to be an entrepreneur, like you can't think quitting is even an option. Like you just have to keep pushing and you have to kind of be okay with that, that it's not always going to be great, but it's still better than working for somebody else.
That's what comes with a normal job too. Like it's going to suck sometimes and hopefully you enjoy some days too, but yeah, at least you have the freedom to really be working for yourself.
Yeah. And it definitely just takes, I would say, grit, like consistency, grit and consistency. Like you have to be willing to work hard and you can't expect anything in return. Like I can't even tell you how much free information I give out on like a daily basis. And it's genuinely because I love doing what I do. But like, if I were to like think like, oh, this is going to turn into a sale, or like, that's the only reason why I'm doing it. Like, it's not about the money. So like, that's another thing too. Like, it takes passion. Like, you have to be passionate and genuinely care about what you're doing. And do it. And this, if this is something you would do, regardless if there was like a financial benefit or not, then you know that, okay, this is the right path for you.
Wow, that's perfect. It sounds like a tricky balance, but I think that you have it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What kind of professional work experience do you think is needed before becoming self-employed?
Yeah, I definitely think you need to like it depends on what you want to do. I could really only speak to being like a dietitian. And obviously like for me, I do one-on-one nutrition coaching, and I don't think if I think I just jumped right into it, I think eventually I probably would have gotten the hang of it. But I think what was helpful for me was kind of seeing what else is out there. And I liked every area of dietetics that I worked in. I did really enjoy it. I liked clinical. I did like food service a little bit. I actually managed kitchens. Like I didn't hate it. It just wasn't my favorite. It was more the people. No offense to the union workers are really difficult. So I think it was really important for me to really recognize like, okay, I can be good at all of these things, but I don't want to just be good. I want to be great, and I want to really love what I do. And so I think I needed to experience all those other situations and locations to kind of see the bigger picture, like being an inpatient in a clinical setting. Like you definitely matter. But I almost felt like the dietitian in that role is a little bit too late. They're important, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to be more on the preventative side. Like I really wanted to help people live like a life filled with quality and prevent ever having to get into the hospital. When it came to working in like the daycare centers and stuff like that, I noticed that as much as I educated these little kids and as adorable as they were, it's the parents who needed to listen. And if they're not going to listen to me and they don't care to change, then like, what am I doing there? Like, so I realized that through those experiences, I really realized like the type of person that I want to work with, and what excites me, and, what's kind of worth it, kind of in the end. And so I think you need to experience things to see what you like and what you don't like, and kind of weigh the pros and cons with it.
Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because everything that I've seen in acute care is just like putting out fires. And
lots of paperwork. Like you're not really spending a lot of time with the patient. I found like maybe I was charting for like 5-6 hours a day, and maybe spending 1 or 2 hours with like multiple patients, and just kind of, and every day it was sad. It's like, it just became like another pressure ulcer or another person with high blood pressure, and it's like, I want to treat people as people, but they almost don't give you a chance to. It's like, you really just have to like keep going. It's like, oh, if the state's going to come and your chart's not done and it's past due, it's like, well, what about quality time? Like, I could write this chart really quickly. Like, yeah, he has high blood pressure. I recommended a high potassium, low sodium diet. But is that really going to help this person? Like, they're so confused, and they need someone to help them outside of here more so than inside. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of just where I found is like, it's a great for experience. You learn a lot. But it's not where I want it to be long term.
Okay. That makes good sense. And you get something out of every experience, but really narrowed it down for you.
Yeah.
So what experience have you had that you believe have been invaluable to your success as an entrepreneur?
1010% hiring my business coach, Toni. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. He's a registered dietitian, a nutrition entrepreneur. I almost felt like I should have told you to interview him, because like he's got this down pat. He's been doing this for over 2 years. And I knew that I wanted to learn from the best and learn from someone who's doing exactly what I want to be doing. Actually, when this podcast comes out, when I just choose to release this one, I would have had released his already. So the people who are listening would know who he is and what he's about. And he just inspires me so much. And I think like working with someone who has already been there, who's like 10 steps ahead of me, saved me a lot of frustration, and really truly allows me to help people from like a genuine place rather than like stressing about like basic little things that he's helped me, like the whole scheduling thing where I had all this like time now. I was like, what do I do with it? He's like, nope, this is it. Mondays are your creative days. Tuesdays are your counseling days. Wednesdays are your podcast days. Thursdays are your counseling days. Fridays are your lives. And that's it. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. And that was like, if he didn't help me with that, the amount of time I would have wasted stressing out about how to create this schedule, like I probably still would have been trying to figure it out, So I would just say like, we're having someone who's been where I've been, and having that guidance has been like literally like the best thing for me.
Yeah. And it's so amazing to have people who really have their stuff down to be able to look at them as an example and hear their experience too. So you're just passing on that knowledge.
Totally. I actually have a lot of people, and I'm very honored by it, where a lot of other dietitians or nutrition coaches will message me and they ask me to coach them. And although I know what I'm doing, I don't feel like I'm at that point yet where I'm like that expert, where like Toni is that expert, And so I feel like it's really important to also to anyone listening to really make sure that when you are reaching out for help, like you're not just reaching out to someone who like kind of like looks like they have it together, but like is still in the process, right? Like when I was younger, like I had trouble with my weight, and like although I was educating myself when I was going to school, even when I was a dietetic intern, like I was blogging and teaching and educating, but I wasn't accepting payment. I wasn't like really truly like educating people from like that one-on-one basis, because really like I wasn't really ready yet. And I don't think I would have done a service to anybody if I had done it like kind of prematurely.
Right.
So I feel like that's just something I need people to know is like, go to the person that really has been doing this for a while. So I know I can help people and coaching people in their nutrition because I've been doing this for years now. But when it comes to coaching other coaches or other dietitians on how to build their business, I'm in the beginning stages. I've only been, had my business for like about 1.5 years now, but it's only been a few months where it's literally the only job that I have. And so I think there's like comes a time and place where you have to really be honest with ourselves and see like, what are we good at and how can we give back and like choose the areas in which we do that.
That's really smart. That's a good approach.
Yeah.
Awesome. So a little bit more on the school side now. What academic courses do you think were most beneficial to your niche?
Okay. So the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics does a great job supporting clinicians. I will say they need to improve a little bit when helping entrepreneurs. So what I would say with that is the best course, believe it or not, that I've ever taken was a social media course offered by Carla Biesinger, who actually is someone on Instagram who is now a really good friend. Like people who've been following me know that we went to Italy together. Like she's like, we're like this, but like, it's funny because like I actually hired her as a coach first after taking her course about how to grow my social media. Before I had found Toni, who I realized like, although she was wonderful, she's not a registered dietitian. So it was a little bit harder to connect specifically, although she did help me kind of grow my platform on social media. Until this day provides like kind of cool, like tips and tricks and stuff. And so the reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, I'm trying to build connection with my followers. And I don't care about the number of followers I have. I want the people who follow me to genuinely understand, learn, and grow. So if I can help one person with my posts, I'm happy with that, And so I felt like her course was really designed. She really understood that and helped me to really create like a layout on my Instagram, the way that I write my posts, what I do on my stories, how I interview people, like all of those things that I think that honestly, I know my followers appreciate a lot. And so she really helped me kind of bring that need and serve the people, what people wanted. And I found that was kind of one of the best courses that I took, even though it has like nothing to do with nutrition, like nothing to do with sales, like nothing like that. It was just literally helping me find my voice and represent the self that I knew how I wanted to represent and kind of show up in my business.
Yeah. And that's so important. Social media, it's not really quantity, it's more quality. And once you get to people and they understand and they see all the amazing things that you can do and all the things that they can do with your guidance, like that's really where it counts. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to get out there the way you did.
Thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, my next question is, what professional associations or organizations other than A&D are useful to belong to as a nutrition entrepreneur?
Definitely the I Believe Nutrition Mentorship with Toni Stephan. So he has created, so I was literally one of his very first RDs to be coached by him. And now he has like 50 people underneath him learning from him. We have retreats every three times a year. The next one is in California, which this might be releasing when I'm there. In California, there's been ones in Vegas, there's been ones in Arizona, New York City. And so we have like bi-weekly group team calls of they're all our registered dietitians or online nutrition coaches. We have the retreats 3 times a year. It's literally everybody, if they're not working for themselves full time doing this as an entrepreneur, it's on their side, and their plan is to eventually leave their full time job to go and do it, or to kind of transition and do that. And so that's literally if this is the space you want to be in, which is online nutrition coaching or being an entrepreneur. Some people do have like their own gym. Some of them are personal trainers, so they might have like a gym where they do it. But if the purpose is to help grow your business online, because of the benefits of that, which is like, being able to travel and also too connecting with your clients, where I notice for them, it's not about me personally being able to like work from wherever. It's more of my clients not having to drive physically to me. I have clients in Australia. So it's like the coolest thing that I can make an impact all over, not even just the country. I used to think it was the country. When I had like clients in California, I was like, this is so cool. But like now I have literally clients in other continents. Like I can literally impact the entire world by going online. And so you're not just changing the people in your community. You're not just changing your country. You're literally changing the world by like one person at a time. And so I find that also with the way the world's going, with the online businesses and just everyone being online, it's super, super easy and convenient and flexible. And even I have clients that like technically live locally to me, but if it's raining outside or if it's snowing or if they have to pick up this kids from school, we can still hop on the phone. We can still video chat. Like if they're stuck at work, they can find a little private place in the corner. I can't speak. And so it really kind of helps them to kind of learn and grow at a faster rate because they're having a more frequent connection with the dietitian or the coach. So they're more likely to kind of keep their goals top of mind and create that like everlasting change. So back to your original question. Yes, if the I Believe mentorship is really great. Actually, we will be having a booth at Fancy.
I'll stop by.
This one actually. Like I was going to say no. Next year in 2020 is bigger things, but I can't open my mouth yet. But the end of this, when Fancy's October. Yeah, October.
In Philadelphia this year.
Yeah, we're having a booth. He's having a booth, but he graciously is having like me and like 3 or 4 other RDs there. So yeah.
Wow, that's an amazing experience. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited.
Cool. Awesome. So my last question, sad, but very important, is if you could do it all over again, would you choose the same path and would you change anything at all about it?
Gosh. So I don't believe in going back because I feel like everything kind of shaped me into like where I'm at today. I almost wish yes, because I almost feel like this is something I should have been doing for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like I was saying earlier, all of those experiences and all the jobs that I had and all of that, I think really helped me kind of see that I, for a fact, know that this is what I'm meant to be doing. Whereas like maybe if I would have jumped in a little early, I may have gotten scared, or I may have like gone back to working for somebody else, or, but I think I needed to kind of go through that and to really realize, okay, no, like I really am ready for this. Like I gotta do this. And so I think I needed to kind of I also was working so many hours of like, I was working like 80 plus hours a week. I think I reached like a breaking point of physical exhaustion where I was just like, no, like you gotta stop. No, but yeah. Yeah, like part of me wants to say I wish I did it a little bit sooner, because I'm really, really happy and thankful and grateful to how my life is right now. So it's like I could have been experiencing this a little bit earlier. But then the other part of me is like, if I did it earlier, would I have really been ready? And maybe because I waited and I kind of planned it out, that's why I'm at where I'm at today. So, I'm going to say no.
No, we're not changing anything.
Okay. Yeah, but sorry, I never give straight answers, even when I'm counseling people. Like, it's never black or white. We know this.
Well, exactly. Everything in moderation and what feels best for you.
Yeah.
So. Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this for me. It's been very eye-opening to be able to talk to you. You are awesome, and your path is not the same as anybody else's path. So it was really interesting to learn.
Thank you. And I want to say to you, Katie, thank you for kind of being brave, where I was just like, how about you emailed me these questions, and I'm like, why don't we just do a podcast and like just record it? And you're just like, yeah, like no problems. I can't even tell you, like, there's some people that are a little bit, I didn't even think about it, but like some people are like, that's really nerve-wracking. I've never been on a podcast. Are you sure? I've interviewed other RDs on bigger platforms, bigger podcasts, and they're like, I've never been on it. What do I do? How do I do this? Like, you were just like, yeah, sure, I'm jumping right in. Like, that's the sort of attitude that an entrepreneur needs. It's just like action taking. Don't think about it. Just do it, and let it all work out. So thank you for being an action taker.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really what I'm learning in the dietetics program, is just like, you say yes to things and then you get to do cool experiences. So even if you're scared, like, just embrace it, because it's going to end up being an amazing opportunity. Totally.
And you learn from it, if not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a podcast before?
Nope. This is my first time.
Yay. Super excited. Well, thank you so much. And do you want to shout out your Instagram? Like, are you growing it? Is that something that you want people to follow you? Or are you like...
It's more on the personal end, but you never know. I might branch out. More opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's at Katie Lee MM, KATIELEEMM on Instagram. Okay. And I have some fun things happening there, and I'll absolutely follow and say hey to everyone.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll put it in the show notes so people can follow you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Have an awesome day. Thank you again.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. If you did, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, write a review, post it on your story, shout us out, send us a message, let us know what part of it resonated with you, whether you're a registered dietitian, nutrition coach, or someone who's just on your own personal health journey. I think you could learn a lot from it. From listening to this episode, which is we had Kate interview me, who sees that I'm a few steps ahead of her in the journey of becoming a dietitian, and I mentioned about my coach Toni, who you guys heard from a couple weeks ago, and it's really, really important to, if you want to learn how to be a certain way, you got to interview, you got to ask questions, you got to work with people who've already been where you're at and where you want to go. So I hope that's kind of the message that you got from there. And then also too, that, every part of the journey is not always lovely. It's not always perfect. But it's all shaping you and making you who you are today. So that is all from me. Like I said, if you liked the episode, please share it. Thank you so much for listening. If you're not in my Healthy Lifestyle Support Group on Facebook, you definitely want to join there. If you're not following me on Instagram, I'd love for you to follow me there. At tips_with_Toni. And thank you for listening.
As always, this is the Tips with Toni podcast. I'm Toni Marinucci, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.